Alright, I did say I was gonna make a video about the other topic, and so here it is. And it's about Christian girls, Christian single girls, and low self-esteem. And I know this is a sensitive topic, but I think it has to be talked about. And a big problem is, I think, a lot of Christian girls are sucked into the K-drama culture and the K-drama expectations. And what do I mean by that? You know, they have these tropes, right? K-dramas always has this really super rich, perfect guy who has everything. He's like Prince Charming of the 21st century. And there's always this girl who has so many problems in life, so many issues, so many challenges. And the guy enters her world, enters her life, and then just totally changes her life, fixes all her problems, makes her life great. And a lot of times what happens is so many Christian girls don't want to be single anymore because they have an assumption. The assumption is that if there's a Christian man that comes into my life, he's gonna enter my life and change my life and fix all my problems and everything's gonna be great. But that's K-drama, that's not reality, guys. That's the big problem right now. I believe so many Christian girls need to be empowered, and the only way to be empowered is to actually realize and understand first that they are being lied to. Let me explain. There are expectations on Christian men. You know, if you're a Christian man and you're single, if you want to deserve a girl, you have to be what? Leader, provider, spiritual head. You have to be physically fit. You need to be well put together. You need to have your act straight, gainfully employed, with savings, you know, have a good bank account, good credit system, blah, 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 blah. And the girl says, or the girls, Christian girls think, of course he's got to be all that because he has to win me. And that's very entitled. Girls don't say it out loud, but that's what they're thinking, right? They just have to win me as if they are some prize to be won. The thing is, if you think about it, with a guy being all that, sounds more like he is the prize and the girl should be the one to earn or deserve this man prize, right? I mean, let's just be honest. It's, you know, real talk here. You know, if the guy's all that, the girls have to start to think, I have to be all that too. It cannot be the guy is expected to be all that and the girl's just like, well, I'm just a girl. Well, no. You have to be just as great as the man that you expect to be with. Don't say, well, if we get together, I'm going to be super supportive. So can he. You know, I'm going to be super sweet. So can he. You know, I'm going to be the best girlfriend ever. Well, he's going to be the best boyfriend ever. Right? So you have to start asking yourself, what are you going to contribute to the table? If he's going to put on the table all these things, all these qualities, all these achievements, all these successes in his life, what are you going to add? Don't just say, well, myself. Well, he's putting himself there too. So you have to work on yourself as well. And so many times what happens is something is exposed. I'm sorry to say this, but it's real. The big thing that's exposed is the very low esteem of a lot of Christian girls out there because of the K-drama culture. All right? And what happens is they no longer are really interested in the guy. They're just interested in not being single. Let me say that again. They're not attracted to the person. They're only attracted to themselves becoming not single anymore. So in a sense, they're using the guy for their ego. They're using the guy for their self-esteem. They want to feel pursued, loved, desirable. They want to feel that, you know, oh, you know, this guy, you know, pursued me. Therefore, I am all this. Because if a guy who's all that likes me, then I have to be all that too. But that's actually not true. Because eventually, if you know, things go south, here's what happens. Well, before things go south, here's what happens. If you guys get together, the girl will feel insecure the entire time because she'll feel that the guy is all that and she's going to try to fake it. She's going to try to fake being all that when she's really not. And eventually that's going to get exposed. And when that gets exposed, they break up. When they break up, it's a double damage to the girl. Why? Because not only will she realize what was real all along, which was she had low self-esteem and she wasn't all that, but secondly, because the guy broke up with her, it's more painful for her, and so now her self-esteem went from bad to worse, because now she realizes the guy broke up with me because this breakup confirms what I knew all along deep down in my heart. Now that will cause her to go into a spiral of depression and, self-doubt and all of that stuff. All it takes is to recognize, to prevent all this tragedy, to prevent all these problems, all it takes is to recognize that first and foremost, Christian girls, you need to know, you need to realize, you need to accept that life is not a K-drama series. It's not about some dude that God sends in your life that gives you a fairy tale romance, Prince Charming, who's a prince, and you're like Giselle from Enchanted who lives in a forest, and suddenly he just makes everything right for you. That's not how it works. Reality is you're both gonna have to be put together, you're both gonna have to be at a similar level to be quote unquote all that to a certain degree for one another. You have to support each other financially, you have to support each other emotionally, in practical ways, and so it cannot be very one-sided. It cannot be the guy fixing all your problems and you're just the recipient of quote unquote grace. And please don't use the grace card on me on this when it comes to Christianity. Oh, my spiritual worth is in Christ. Well, so is his, but he's bringing more than spiritual worth in Christ to the table. Why aren't you doing the same thing? Right? So don't use men as an ego trip, as an ego boost to boost your low self-esteem. You have to accept that you gotta grow, you gotta change, you have to put something to the table too. You have to have your own achievements, your own level of success, your own level of accomplishments in life, your own confidences, your own skills. Do you have certain skills that you can add to the table, right? You have to know that you have to know what you're adding to his life. And it cannot just be, oh, I'm adding myself, because he's adding himself to yours. That's the thing. The other thing is this. I'm going to post a link of my previous rant in the comment, no, not comment, what's it called? Description below. I sound like a YouTuber, woo, right? Like a YouTuber. But anyway, I'm going to add a link to one of my previous rants before about spiritual attraction and worldly, earthly attraction and the differences of that. You might want to go back to that rant as well to see what it's like. But really, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself what standards you have for yourself. Not just for the guy, but for yourself too. Guys have all these standards for themselves already. Guys are very serious. Christian men, well, I hope. A lot of Christian men are very serious about themselves. They're very, I gotta be this, I gotta be that to deserve a girl that I'm gonna pursue. And girls have this mindset that, well, he's gonna be all that because I'm so precious. Let me ask you, why are you so precious? What are you adding into his life? You have to ask that as well. And I know it's going to touch on your self-esteem, it's going to question your skills, your capabilities, and that's actually supposedly a good thing because we're supposed to examine ourselves all the time, right? So I hope this was a not so painful but firm eye-opener and wake-up call for a lot of Christian girls and Christian ladies out there who have their brains stuck in the K-drama world. God bless you.